Unuke. Even the other side of the political divide agrees that Amina Mohammed does deliver. She's even been described, and some people say this is not the best way to describe her, but as the only man in Uhuru Kenyatta's cabinet.
Yes, I think that has been said about Amina. I really want to support this this bill and this job that she's going for. And I think, you know, as much as we are not saying it, but really I want to congratulate our Jubilee government, the president, the deputy president, because actually if it's a question of actually empowering women and putting them in positions, you know, where they can actually showcase what they can do. I really want to say that they have done it. It's not, I'm not saying it because I'm in Jubilee, but really, you know, you can see, and they go out of their way. You saw the president going to campaign for her the other day. The deputy president is out there also doing the same to make sure that we get this bid. It is the bid for the East African community, right? You know, because the East African countries now to head that AU. And I think it is Rwanda is also putting their bid. But I'm very happy with the aggression that, you know, Kenyans are now moving. You know, in the past we have not been very, you know, forthright and really coming out to support our candidates. But I'm glad that this government has is going out of their way and really, you know, bringing out. And Amina, I know, will perform. She's done it in Kenya. Of course, we'll miss her as a cabinet secretary. But as you know, Kenya is full of women. I hope that it is, if at all that position is going to be taken by somebody else, it is that we want as the president to continue doing what he has been doing for the women of Kenya, make another woman a cabinet secretary once Amina gets that position. And
as we continue the conversation, you can join in on Twitter as well. Use the hashtag #PowerBreakfast. At Citizen TV Kenya is our Twitter handle. Mine is at Freddy Ndimuli, and my panelists we have at Esther Passaris, the P is capital, at Esther Passaris, at Gladys Wanga, and at Laboso Joyce. The J is also capital, so that we continue this conversation. But now back to the issue of Amina Mohammed and her quest for the top AU job. And because even her predecessor is a woman, Dlamini Zuma from South Africa. And what does it say about Africa's politics? Where are we heading? Because yes, the AU position is also very political. It is very political. We're seeing a number of women leaders getting big positions in Africa, which is well, it is what is happening globally as well. Now we're looking at having a woman, the very first woman American president, and we have the same issue in Britain. We have a woman prime minister. In Germany, a woman chancellor. In Canada, a woman prime minister as well.
I don't know where they got another woman governor there. I can't remember.
In Kenya, we are yet to have a woman governor. We have 2 aspirants with us here today.
No, for me, the way I see it, leadership in Africa has always been an all-boys club. And we've had a woman there, right? And now that we have Amina, I'm praying that it goes through, I think the one thing that she has to do is to be very tough and take a stance against the presidents of Africa. Okay, I mean, most of Africa's presidents are men, and most of them are messing up. And most of them are actually not addressing the issues that need to be addressed in their various countries. So for Amina, I think she's going to have to be very, very tough. I mean, because we need that kind of toughness, right? And I think the biggest problem is most of the men that have been there are not really talking tough with the African presidents, because somehow we give them that position where they can do what they want, when they want, and how they want. So for her, she's got to go in there and be that woman. She's a mother. She understands the issues. She's in touch with them from a maternal instinct point. Africa needs help. We are starving. We have wars. We have a poor governance, and we need help. Because as the population gets to 1 billion, right? We need to know how we're going to feed our people, how we're going to empower our youth, how we're going to create jobs, how are we going to make sure that state stops spending too much money and wasting too much money and borrowing too much money. We are so much in debt. It's dangerous.
Gladys Wanga, of course, as Esther Passaris said, that big boys club needs to be disrupted. Do you think Amina has what it takes to actually disrupt that club?
I think her coming in does disrupt the club, and I think the Mini Zuma, you know, having been a woman there, has made it almost automatic, you know, has made it almost automatic that now a woman can actually succeed. And you see that now strong women are coming up to say, Mini Zuma did it, and Amina, you know, now coming in and can fill in that position. And you've said correctly that it's women rising. I think it's our year.
To lead.
And it's really, truly our year, and to take over, you know. So Amina going and getting the seat, I think, will be another good sign, just as Hillary taking up the presidency, and we saw what happened with Theresa May, and we've seen what's happening across the world. So I think it's really a time for women, and I think coming back and talking about even within our own country, I think Jubilee, yes, have put in women here and there, but we still do not have the 1/3 requirement. We still, even within appointive positions, you know, like PSs and so on, that balance is still not there. We are still struggling with the 2/3 gender rule in Parliament, and Jubilee has the numbers. So we want to see the President's commitment to bring in to rally his troops to pass this 2/3 gender law, so that we are in a place, as we go into this election, we are in a place where as my sisters go for governorship and so on, we have more women coming in to take up, you know, the 1/3, the rightful 1/3, or even 2/3, you know, within government. So we want to see more work in that area.
And just Laboso, and some of these things we should not be really discussing much about on TV, but I've seen a trend, and I thought it was only in Kenya, but even in the United States we see that women politicians, the issue of marital status, are you married, who are you married to, where are you married, is a big issue here in Kenya. We are seeing it even in the United States. Hillary Clinton's husband becoming an issue in her campaign. It appears women have a lot to fight.
I think that's what we keep telling. We keep telling people that the playing field is not the same. That, you know, when we stand as women for positions, we are not given the same measures. You know, the measuring scale is very, very different. You know, nobody ever asks any man whom is married to. You know, but you can see that is what Trump is rambling on about. You know, on Hillary.
And that's,
you know,
that's a developed.
It is, but you see, they're always looking for the soft spot, you know, the thing that they think, you know, is going to.
And if at all we have that kind of debate in the first world, then what do we expect back home here?
But we have been pace setters in the past. Why do we can still overcome those kind of, you know, reducing your bid to really very, very private and irrelevant issues, rather than trying to really look at your capacity, your capability, what are you able to actually bring to the you know, to the position that you may be. But
you do agree that it is an issue when people bring up your personal life. When you're discussing the issues to do with the country.
I think when I look at Hillary, okay, I mean, the issue of her husband, okay, he was the one who was unfaithful, he was the one who was publicly disgraced, all right, but it's about her and her character. And I think I admire the way she held on to her marriage, she supported her husband, she forgave her husband. We have to reach a point in this life of ours where we stop playing God, where we understand that we live in a very human world where things can go wrong. But that doesn't mean you're not a good leader. That doesn't mean if your character and your values are constant, that you cannot lead. All right? So what? Bill Clinton had mistresses. Does that mean Hillary did something wrong? No. It means Bill Clinton did what he did. But I think she decided, I'm going to hold on to my family. I'm going to keep my family intact. I'm going to forgive my husband, because after all, he did something wrong. He is human. And let's move on. And today when you look at the two of them, you know, they're such a pair. And there's so much love between them. And there's so much strength in their unity. So when it comes to a woman, especially in Africa, where we live in very polygamous situations, I think you have to look at the woman, look at her children, look at her past deeds, look at how she has worked and how she has developed. Whether somebody is married in the classical marriage way or divorced, for me, I mean, do you want, look at the woman in Machakos, I mean, do you want the woman to stay in a marriage where the man is violent, just because it's politically right. So you're telling me that if a woman is divorced, she may be a very good leader with a lot of experiences to share with other women, especially the women out there who are single mothers who've been abandoned, and you're saying she cannot lead because she's divorced. And then here, if she stays in that marriage which is violent, then that's what happens to her is what happened to the lady in Machakos, which is really, really sad.
And the fact that, because I've seen Gladys Wanga in a section of media, you are forced to talk about your marriage and relationship. Same to you. Even you, publicly, are being forced to talk about your marriage publicly, and yet you're trying to discuss development issues. Do you feel disadvantaged? Do you feel that is something that you will continue doing? Because it's an election year. Once you go out on the campaign trail, that is, once in a while you'll have to keep on commenting about your family. Do you think it's something you're prepared to do? Or as a woman, you have no choice but to do it?
I think the standards are different, just like the Deputy Speaker said. No man is asked how many wives do you have. We only see them maybe when the man dies is when another one pops from here, another one pops from there. You know, maybe they have 10 wives, who knows? Nobody asks them about it.
Even the marital status, no one cares.
Yes, but when you're a woman, you're asked. Okay, if you're married, if you're not married, it's a problem.
Yes.
If you're divorced, it's a problem. If you are married from another place, it's a problem. You know, so when you go back to run where you were born, it's a problem. When you come to run where you are married, it's a problem. For example, when I was running to become ODM chair, they told me this one is from Kisumu. She will carry our chair and go back from Homa Bay to Kisumu. Okay, if I were to go to Kisumu, like Joyce in Sotik or in Bomet, they are saying, oh, where are you married? Go to where you're married, or Cecily in Embu, and so on and so forth. So the standards are very different. Like, we don't know what the men want. What do they want? They want us not to be married, or to, you know, or to be divorced. So the standards are very different, and everything you do is a problem. But I think that is one of those things that we are ready to face. We are ready to push on with. We are ready to overcome, and I think the men should just watch the
So you're ready to for that fight?
Oh, by the way, I am very ready for it, because I keep telling them, you know, if it was a question of marriage, I have been married for the last 30 years. I'm not about to divorce my husband because of the seat. I have got my family, which I care about, but that is none of their business. And what I really want to talk about is, I have been a leader in that county for the last 10 years, almost 10 years. Find out whether that my marriage of coming from outside has affected my position as the member of parliament for Sotik. That is what it boils down to. So can we talk about my role in the position that I want, and can we discuss that without bringing in irrelevancies, things that don't really matter? You know, come and challenge me on my capacity and my capability to be the governor of Bomet. Am I capable of being that governor? Yes. Do I have the experience? Do I have the necessary skills? Do I know Bomet enough to be able to do what I believe I can do, and the difference that I believe I can bring to Bomet? Yes. Okay. That's what I want us to discuss.
Now, now that you put that matter to rest, let's move on now to other issues. And today we could be having the next Chief Justice being